This is the Forge Forward podcast. I'm your host yet again, Phil de Cruz. I'm with the fearless leader, Courtney Smith. How you going?
I think I said awesome earlier. I'm exceptional now. Exceptional.
Right. I'm exceptional now. He's elevating as the day goes, which is great.
I've got a man in front of me who I've got the utmost respect for and can't wait to get into a conversation with. So how could I not be exceptional, Phil?
Yes. Oh, absolutely, mate. I've been looking forward for this one. Neville Christie, welcome to the podcast, mate. You're our urban shaman of the event, and I can't wait to unpack what we have here
I'm
today,
looking
mate.
forward to finding out what might evolve from being the urban shaman.
What is an urban shaman? That's number one, right? And that's the mystery. We won't tell anyone today.
I think we need to address that.
When they get to meet you, they get to meet the urban shaman, and I think we'll put the marketing spin around that, which should be exceptionally fun.
You quickly want to know what an urban shaman is?
I would love to know your interpretation of urban shaman.
I think we should start off that. I think we'd start off with it.
Let's do it.
Well, if you go back before all the cities were formed and, all the peoples of the world were in tribes and sort of very rural, the key point in any tribe was the shaman, and he was a polymath, or she, a polymath, so that a healer, a dancer, a spiritual, insightful leader, a psychotherapist, all put together. And basically what we know is that the shaman traditions all over the world ended up being very similar because they were all diving into what Jung called the collective unconscious. So over the years, their understanding has been developed by different psychotherapists and psychologists and neuropathologists, and so that we've now got a body of knowledge and tools and techniques to be able to do personal transformation and individual, team, business, even nation transformation. And so now the shaman operates in an urban environment, hence the urban shaman.
And what our listeners don't know is the great privilege that I had is to spend some time with Neville doing some training around self and awareness. Yes. And we had an incredible journey with a group of men.
And you taught me a lot.
As we went, men or women, we all taught each other lots of things and had an unbelievable opportunity to get to know each other. And I can attest that if you get an opportunity at Forge to speak with Dr. Peter Pronto, Mr. Neville Christie, the urban shaman, there will not be a moment where you won't be intrigued by the conversation. So yes, thanks for joining today, Neville. It's a great privilege for me to have you on board, and I can't wait for the audience to see the incredible Mr. Neville Christie.
Thanks. Yes. Shall I genuflect?
You can upside down, twist or whatever. At 82, I know you still do the splits probably. So,
other than your urban shamanism, tell us about your journey and the experiences that have led you to the insights of sharing at the Forge conference.
Well, it started at a very early age, as you might gather. I just reached my 83rd year. I was motivated by two things from my father. First of all, he had a total belly up incident at age 12, and as a result, even though I was still at school, I became the breadwinner of the family. And so I started my first series of businesses, and over the years I've set up, I've been now going, 71 years in business. I've started well over 44 businesses with myself and others. I love starting them. Once they get, really going, I get bored and hand them over to someone else.
Sound a bit like me, mate. That's funny. Maybe that's why I like it so much.
It's really lovely. And I also, my dad motivated me in another way, that he was always talking about what he would do when he retired. But unfortunately, he got a series of very bad emphysema, and all of his last years were in and out of hospital, and he never got to live, really. And that convinced me that it was very important never to retire, but to keep reinventing yourself. So along the way, we adopted a son, Anthony. He ended up having extreme paranoid schizophrenia. That led me into doing all sorts of forms of therapy, Gestalt therapy, psychodrama, you name it, Jungian psychology, in attempt to heal him. I couldn't heal him because his disease was so malevolent, but it certainly helped to heal me. And so, I've been on that twin journey of businesses and personal transformation ever since.
It's a beautiful story. This gentleman here is an interesting conversation for many reasons. One of them is the fact that we're in an exponential age, and I don't think I know another 80-plus-year-old person
83.
on the planet. 83, 80 plus, whatever that category we frame, that is has leaned into some of the newer aspects of AI as much as yourself. Can you speak to that a little bit? The concept about exponentiality. You've framed some things in the works you're doing at the moment around steep learning and the like. Let's just talk to that a little bit. Yeah.
Sure. Well, 6 years ago, I did a fair bit of analysis and really came to the awareness that there was going to be, or this decade would actually be, what I called full of 40 tsunami-like events. And these would be social, technological, ecological, economic, and political. So I used the acronym STEEP, changed my business, closed down a number of business, and became STEEP Renaissance, the notion of a renewal, a revitalization, a new frontier. And I'm really very clear that these tsunamis are hitting. One of the many is technological tsunamis, and artificial intelligence is proving, I think, to be one of the great transformations. For me, it's become the best and biggest productivity tool, I guess, of my life. I think AI has increased my daily productivity by a factor of, say, 15, even 20. And so, in 2 hours a day, I can get done what would normally have taken me a week. And that's enormous. So, we're going through huge transitions of every aspect of our huge international world. And a new cosmos is forming, and I'm calling that Steep Renaissance. And I think, people at Forge will be challenged, I hope, to become part of creating the new Renaissance, the new revival, the new beginning.
I think the people that attend Forge will be at the front end of that, and that's the design and the intention. We have an incredible panel of speakers and presenters alongside yourself, Neville, that will add perspectives that are very unique. I know for a fact that there's two sides to technology, isn't there? There's the revolutionary aspects of the change it enables, the things it gives us as humans, the tool. Humans have only evolved because of the tools we've created and invented, and ultimately that sets us apart from everything else. What's the human side of that you're seeing the most impact and gives you most concern, Neville?
Well, in the end, there's no need for concern about anything if you have the right mindset. But if we convert that to a focus or whatever, AI, I think, I know, represents the hugest opportunity to take any of the problems and process them in different ways, both using AI and using teams, and especially businesses, to reform those problems into opportunities. I get overwhelmed a bit by waking up every day and finding just how the world is teeming with opportunities. Just for example, in global warming, that alone. The big priority, I believe now, is in my early days, it always used to be that the great productivity tool, the great innovation, if you like, was personal time management. Now, with AI and the issues and the opportunities that are being framed all around the world, the two big issues are, first of all, energy management. That many of our people around the world are running out of psychological, social, political energy, and we're seeing a massive a massive sea of discouragement and mental health issues and drug taking that leads to death and suicide. So there's a whole need for us to be revitalizing our total psychological, social, political, economic energy. And then that leads on to the fact that AI is going to take away a lot of the mundane jobs we've been used to doing, what we've been doing as people, and our people in our businesses, and therefore the second massive priority, I believe, is a huge investment in ourselves in developing our skills. And I have to say, with the help of AI and my own dedication to committing sleep renaissance, I'm actually at 83 going through the highest growth spurt of my life. I have never grown so fast and come to so many new understandings as now. It's like I'm doing 6 PhD at once with the aid of AI, and I just love it. So
how do you test accuracy? That's often what a viewer or someone would question is. It's great to learn, assuming the information you're learning is correct, right? How do you deal with the accuracy elements and the potential for hallucinations in subject matters? And I know how deep you go into subjects, so there's an opportunity for hallucinations aplenty.
Oh, yes. Again, AI is very helpful because it always says at the bottom, hey, we make mistakes. And yes, it does. So I actually say, what mistakes did you make here? Tell me the references. Did you make this bit up or give me where? And they're totally honest. Oh, yes. You might ask them, for example, for a quote about transformation, or 6 quotes, and they do, and you look at them and they're all sort of funny names, So you say, all right, did you make those up, or can you give me the reference? Oh, no, we paraphrased, right? So okay, now you know. Then of course you go back into your own understanding and insights, and as you're reworking it, you think that doesn't make sense, so you go back and you go to Google, or you go to some reference that or you ring up Courtney Smith and say, hey, Courtney, does this sound like, and you say, oh, no, that's stupid. And in that process, I've created a character called Dr. Peter Pronto, and he's both an avatar of me, the very best of me that I yearn for and have still not arrived. But he's an amalgam of at least 20 other experts. So, I just simply borrow from AI, from Phil, from Courtney, put it all together and come out with a Dr. Peter Pronto. So, I'm not one, but many.
Peter Pronto.
So the funny thing is I get to borrow from Perplexity and other engines, and we pull all this together in this harmonistic way. And next thing we know, we've come up with revolutions that would have taken years in days and weeks.
Yes, and something really, really important there, Courtney. In my early days, most of our innovation and most of our businesses were solo startups. They were things that a founder did, one founder or maybe two. But the whole world now is moving to the notion of collaborative innovation.
I love it.
The notion of having a solo business is creaking very badly, and the past is a dead country. We don't want to live there anymore. New businesses, the new innovations need to be collaborative, cooperative, tribal-based, community-based. And this of itself is an immense revolution because it reforms the whole notion of capitalism, being for shareholders. The capitalism, which I remain an ardent believer in. Capitalism now becomes cooperative, collaborative, tribal, community, sharing. And this is part of, the revitalizing the renewed economy, the sharing economy. 6 years ago, I set up with others a sharing business called Sharing. We created our own blockchain. And it's the basis of sharing assets and ideas around the world rather than keeping them all to ourselves.
Could you repeat the statement you made at the front around the past, just so that I think the listeners may have missed that one, and I love that statement you make.
I don't remember or heard what I said.
Something around the past is dead.
The past is a dead country, and if we're living there,
it's a dead country. Wow.
It's a dead country, and if we are consisting on living there, we're either dead, dying, redundant, or obsolete. One of the four.
I I was going to swear then. I absolutely love it.
Yes, good. I'll let you borrow it as long as you call it a Neville.
I've stolen already, mate. You shared, you collaborated, it's done. Sorry, buddy. I can't see a TM or an R on it. Sorry, bud.
I've got copyright on that one. Come on.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't see it. Sorry about that.
Neville, you've seen
Yes.
technology evolve since, I don't know.
Since
Before
the
you were
year-
born, man.
It's
Before
been a
you were
while.
born.
I was born
Before
during
I
the
was
war.
born.
Yeah, 1941. I was born. Yes.
Wow, okay. That's a while. But you've seen the rapid change that it's happened, particularly in the last probably 5-10 years. The last 2 years, I would say. We find people fall into 3 different categories. Either the
Yes.
visionary, the cautious explorer, or the resistor. Can you tell me which one are you and why?
All 3.
All 3. You're an all 3er.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think it's important for us to resist the old world. Like it's dead, it's gone, it's dying. So we need to do that. Secondly, I think all of us now need to have a new vision of a future. Like if we're just wandering around with it like a chook with its head being cut off, there's no purpose, there's no meaning to what we're doing. So we have to have a sense of vision, a future, a steep renaissance that we act to come about. And what was the one in the middle?
And then the last one was visionary. Cautious explorer, resistor, and visionary.
Pardon? So repeat it. A visionary.
Explorer, visionary, and resistor. In the middle was cautious.
And so, in the middle between resisting and visionizing, we need to explore. We need to go on adventures. We need to work with other people. We need to acquire new skills, new attitudes. We need to change our mindsets. That's the most extraordinary thing for me as an 83-year-old, to keep revitalizing yourself.
Yeah, I love it.
Yes.
I love it. You should never stop learning. These skills are going to be the skills that separate us into the next gen, right? Perhaps on that note.
Here's another Nevillism. Any day that we don't learn something new is a day wasted.
And every day we don't have 8 hugs is a day wasted.
Yes, terrific.
Wow.
On that note, and given I've just had one Nevillism, let's lean into a couple more Nevillisms. What would attendees walk away with, and/or insights you'd hope after having a conversation or hearing from you at Forge?
Right. I hope they would move away with 2 dedications. One, to go on a massive investment in their own learning and the learning of their team. And secondly, to go away saying to themselves, I am a transformation specialist.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what you're saying there is
That's very exciting.
use the event to change mindset towards adaptation into a new future, and to be transformative into that process, such that you don't stay idle and live in the dead country of the past.
Yes, the past is a dead country. And just coming to the 3 points that Phil asked, that's a past question, putting people as this or this or this.
Yep.
The future is about us integrating those to be all 3 of those, either as an individual or as a team. That's a change. That's a mindset change. That's an action change. And as a result, AI can help us in all of its forms, because it's the productivity tool. It does all the grunt work, and allowing us to interact, be creative, to consider new possibilities, to change our mindsets, and keep building that steep renaissance.
I love it. But I'm convinced.
How do you see the future? Yeah. I was just going to say, how do you see the future in the next 5-10 years? What's the largest signal that you think that's going to come towards us?
Well, first of all, there's no future as such. Like, it doesn't exist And secondly, there are many futures ahead, some of them terribly bad and some of them wondrously good. And the third thing is the future only comes about by you and me and others acting and create it. As has been said many, many, many times, many people have the same quote: to predict the future, create it. So, like, my future is one of a steep renaissance and me constantly learning and dancing with AI. Every one of us needs to develop our own futures, plural.
Yeah, we're going to have a few snippets of wisdom coming out of this podcast, Phil. To predict the future, create it.
Yeah. Many people said that. Abraham Lincoln said it. Peter Drucker said it. If you do, who said that, you'll find 20 or 30 people said it. And now Neville Christie says it. So, it must be true.
And the best of them all, mate.
Is there any challenges you see coming in the multiple industries that we're facing today? And do you know anything how we can address some of these challenges?
Oh, yes. Yes. There's a wonderful, interesting, detailed academic text called Blue Ocean Strategies. And when I'm working with businesses, I start with the notion that every industry that I know of has a maximum of 7 key factors that have to be got right, have to be considered in order to create a future for that business. What is wonderful about the Blue Ocean Strategies is that they take that and what that means is that existing businesses are in the main operating in a red ocean of sharks where everybody's devouring each other and there's a lot of blood. And the focus for all of us now, as the past is dead and a future is not yet emerging because we have to create that future, or futures plural, is to find blue ocean strategies. That is where there is no contested space. And they give a number of models of how to do that. And one of the most stunning models is very apposite for me because my dad's family came from Worth Circus, a 100-year-old circus. And I was very much part of that up until it decayed when I was 12. But what they look at is how the traditional circus of animals and hirings and so on was transformed by Cirque du Soleil. And became a billion-dollar business, or multi-billion-dollar business around the world. So there's a starting point. We get together as not just a team, but a group of businesses. Analyze the 7 absolute key factors of the current industry you're in. Visionize a different industry. Way of life of being in the world, taking into account all the needs we have for resilience and recycling and caring for the planet and using fewer resources, and put together 7 new key factors based on a blue ocean strategy. That's the beginning.
Look, it's an incredible take, Neville. The bit I'd like to ask is, do you think recently went to a Burning Mind event with Uncommon, with Finbar O'Hanlon and Andy Lark, and both really smart gentlemen, talking about some of the things you've touched on. What one good thing for the listeners is that we get to have Finbar and Neville in a room together on a special night. So that's going to be incredible if you get along to that one's going to be incredible. So that's but I love that concept of collaboration and that swimming pool of knowledge and thinking being applied cross-functionally.
Yeah, but making sure
in a little microcosm, you could do this at a conference too, couldn't you? Like you could be at a table and doing a microcosm of the same thing, yeah?
Oh, yes. Like, for example, if each of our attendees came with the 7 key factors of their own industry at the moment, just with that. And, it would be beautiful to facilitate that around the table.
Well, day 2 has an opportunity for that, and I'm going to take that piece of wisdom and I'm going to mold it a little bit, because I think I was going to ask questions about problem solving or problems in industry, but I like that slightly different element, which is what are the factors that are affecting your industry.
Yes.
And then I hope that we can frame that and merge that into something of value for every participant. Yeah.
Can I raise a key issue there? And that is that our existing world is absolutely, totally almost oriented around problems and solving problems. As Einstein said, we cannot solve problems with the same thinking that created them in the first place. And, we're seeing the whole decay of the United Nations around that very issue. So the key thing is not to come to solve problems. The key issue is how to take problems and turn them into opportunities for transformation.
Yep, I love it.
A very different mindset. And, if we start with problems, we end with problems. If we start with opportunities, we end with opportunities.
I'm going to reframe just on that alone. I don't need any more convincing. It's a lovely sentiment, and I prefer it a lot more than the typical go-to startup methodology problem solution statement. What's the opportunity we got here, people? What's the opportunity we got?
Yes.
I love it.
A Nevillisms is that opportunities come clothed as problems, waiting for us to redress them.
And I know how you dress, and I like to dress up as well. And there'll be some people dressing up. Hopefully, I can get you dressing up. Do you want to dress up at Forge? Because we can have a lot of fun with that too.
Yes, well, I'm dressed up now. I walked along.
Yeah, I love it. I always see you in colour and vibrancy. It's beautiful.
I walked along Collins Street recently, and I saw 90% of everybody was either in white or black or grey or brindle, and the others were all tradies, in bright orange. And I thought to myself, first of all, the Chinese domination of the fashion industry has just dumbed us down. Like we've lost our colour. White and black. And I went back and I got online and I said, find me AI design tops. And I found it. And I went on and I bought 7 tops and now I wear them, So.
Oh, it's beautiful. I always get in trouble for wearing red. And in fact, I had a red T-shirt on before the session this morning. My wife gave me is that businessy enough? And she made me second guess. And I went and put a collared shirt on. So all my friends say, you always wear flamboyant colours. Typical, Cordo, typical. I love it. I love it, Neville. I love it.
Yeah, good.
Oh, wow.
Any more?
Yeah, we've got a couple more, and we are moving very well. We're 28 minutes in, my friend, and 30 is where we want to get to.
Right.
Is there any advice you could give to innovators who want to make an impact across various industries?
Yes. Form a tribe of 12 quite absolute and separate and distinct businesses. Work, first of all, on future-proofing each of your businesses, and then start collaborating cooperatively, and fundamentally see that tribe as a venture capital group, because between it, they've got all of the assets, all of the cash flow, all of the machines and productivity, all of the clients that are needed. They do not have to go outside that inner tribe to change the world. How's that for you?
I am blown away by that. I've been thinking about that in my own time, about how do I work with others for the betterment of the whole. And the biggest challenge I have is the world in which we live. Many people have become scared and nervous about stepping off the deep end of the pool or into the deep end of the pool. And to do those sorts of things requires confidence. It requires care. It requires all of those human things that you need, including the biggest one of all, an inquisitive and curious nature to see what the other side looks like. So I'm mesmerised by that. Again, I knew this would be the one I get knocked over on. I was expecting before we started. 12 organisations.
You missed out something. In order to collaborate, change the world, we also need resources and assets. Resources are things that still need transformation. Assets are things that are already in form. The current model of a business is, you've got to form all these resources and assets. You've got to go out and get venture capital or, parents' money or whatever. The beauty of forming a tribe of existing businesses is everything is there. All it needs is human capital.
I get it. The sum of the parts is greater than the whole. It's as simple as that, mate. It's an age-old analogy and metaphor.
It's far greater than the whole when we add AI.
Yes, which is now that exponentiality. I'm going to close out on that because that's an incredible close for me. Except I'm going to close on this front, Neville. I'm going to challenge those people attending Forge. Sorry, I've got my pointer out. I'm going to take that away because I don't point. I'm going to challenge those people attending to make it your effort to meet at least 4 people that you could start a conversation with on this vein. If you came to Forge with that thought of an opportunity in your mind, I think you will leave Forge with the most incredible outtake you've ever done from any conference you've ever been to. So that's going to be my challenge to the audience. My second challenge is this. How do people get to talk to, meet with, experience Neville Christie outside of Forge? What is your vehicle today?
Right. You want me to answer that?
Please.
Yes. I have a very ironic website, which, when you look at it, you'll say how amateurish, needs a lot of work, but it's called Steep, STEEP, Renaissance, RENAISSANCE.com. It's free. My contact details are on that website, but equally, I'd invite people 100 times to become a paid or unpaid subscriber as a member, and I send out weekly insights, which are far too long diatribes, and you need to break them down and digest them in small bits, and we can start dialoguing from there. There's also the avatar, Dr. Peter Pronto, and it's possible to ask him absolutely any question, and because he's an amalgam of 20 experts, you'll get an answer.
So is it going to be Peter Pronto or the Urban Shaman at Forge? I like the Shaman because of the nature of the name of the Forge. Do you mind? Can we do the Urban Shaman for a day?
I'll do the Urban Shaman. Yes, absolutely.
Beautiful. Love it. All right. That's been an absolute cracker. Thank you so much for your time and your magnificent 83-year-old energy. Thank you, Neville.
Thank you. I loved it myself. Look forward to being part of it. Bye.
Love you, man. Thank you so much. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you, Neville. Thank you. Bye.